بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد قال الله تعالى فهل عسيتم إن توليتم أن تفسدوا في الأرض وتقطعوا أرحامكم صدق الله العظيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا. Respected elders, dear brothers, honorable mothers and sisters listening. Alhamdulillah, yesterday we had the chance to discuss at length in regards to maintaining family ties, the importance of it. And just to give you in a nutshell, to summarize for you in a nutshell, we understood that the big problem is our character, our conduct, our akhlaq. If we don't live by the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if we turn away from this, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in this verse, in tawallaytum, then what will happen? There will be corruption. And the corruption is the breaking up of family ties that we are seeing, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses. وَتُقَطِّعُوا أَرْحَامَكُمْ, that you will break family ties. So it's largely to do with our character and the problems that we have in this, yes? So this is why we've identified that this Ramadan, inshallah, we're going to try our best to improve our character. We're going to improve ourselves so we can better ourselves, inshallah, yes? Otherwise, what do we see? We see that when we have such bad akhlaq, such bad character, then those that want to even maintain good ties with us end up breaking ties with us. They're unable to maintain ties with us because we don't have a good personality, good character, good conduct. Even to the extent of our own children. Our own children, they grow older, they get married, and now they have to move out. And they're unable to maintain a good conduct or good maintaining of good relationship with us. Why? Because we don't know how to keep it good with our own children or our daughter-in-law or our son-in-law. We don't know how to keep it good with them. So because we don't maintain a good relationship, they end up having to move out. So many youngsters, they get married and they would like to stay with their parents. They even attempt to stay with their parents initially. But they see that problems are creating problems are happening, yes or no? Problems upon problems are arising, and then they are forced to move out. They have to move out. And then the relationship with the parents turns a bit sour, isn't it? So this is what's happening. This is what we are seeing. And this all comes down to our akhlaq, our character, our conduct. But I must say that there is this rising trend nowadays of people getting married, young people getting married and just moving out. Yes? I mean, it's become so common that it's probably surprising to people that I'm even mentioning it, yes? That people are getting married and they're moving out. Isn't that normal though? Thinking, yeah, but isn't that normal? But let's see, meaning, is there any problems in them moving out like this? You know, I'm not talking about where there is, a reason to move out. We do eventually have a reason to move out, right? Eventually you're going to run out of space. There may not be enough space in the home. It may not be compatible for you to stay there. There may be reasons, right? I'm talking about those people who have no good reason to move out. No reason to move out. There's plenty of space. You're the only one there now, right? And it's really good for you. You got it good. Yeah, your parents are treating you, your partner very well. Nothing wrong. But still, people want to move out. And I'm dealing with cases, rising number of cases. I have so many cases where husband and wife come and they're quarreling, they're disputing, they're fighting, and I have to try to mediate between them, try to solve the issue. And what is the problem? The problem is that he told her before he got married to her that look, I'm the only son, or I'm the oldest son, or I'm the youngest son, and I'm going to have to stay with my parents. So she agreed. Initially, she agreed, right? She said, yeah, I'm a family-orientated girl, I've grown up with a family as well, and I will, who doesn't, right? Who's not? Who hasn't been, yes? So they'll all say at the beginning what? Yeah, no problem, your parents are my parents, your mom and dad are my mom and dad, no problem, I will stay, yes? So initially it's all good. What happens after a year? Want to move out, innit? Yeah. So she's saying, I want to move out. And he's like, what do you mean you want to move out? I told you from before. And we agreed on this. Yeah, we agreed on it, but I've changed my mind. I want to move out now. I didn't know it was going to be like this. I didn't know it was going to be this bad, right? So I can't do it no more. I want to move out. Now they're disputing about, he's saying, no, she agreed from before. I can't just move out. She doesn't understand. And she's like, yeah, but he doesn't understand. Yeah, I can't just stay here. I want to move out. So there's a dispute now. So we have to try to come to some solution. And there's so many cases I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to work out what the problem is. Why is it that she wants to move out? So I'm asking her, yeah, okay, but if you maybe explain yourself as to why you want to move out, maybe he'll understand. Maybe I can try and explain to him, yes? So she's like, no, but I just want to move out. And I'm like, okay, but why? I want to move out. I want my own space. I want my own space, yes or no? So I'm telling him that, yeah, but you heard her, right? She wants her own space. It's understandable, right? Somebody wants their own space, right? So why don't you understand? Oh, but you don't understand, Mufti Sahib. You don't understand. My parents are so good to her. And I'm there like thinking, yeah, you're going to say that, innit? But who's not going to say that? Yeah, your parents are good to her. Yeah, everyone says that, right? Everyone thinks that. Your parents are always good, mashallah, yes? So I'm like, yeah, we understand that. He's like, no, you don't understand. My parents are actually so good to her. Yeah, let me give you an example. Whenever we have an argument, me and her have an argument, my mother backs her over me. I'm like, wow, where do you get a mother-in-law like that nowadays, eh? So like, yeah, okay. So I'm looking at her and I'm trying to verify is this an exaggeration or is this actually true, right? So I ask her that, well, is this true? And she's like, yeah, my mother-in-law backs me. She says this well, my mother-in-law backs me. My mother-in-law is really good to me, but I still want to move out. And I'm like holding my head. I'm thinking, what? What's the issue here? Like, what's the issue? Like, she still wants to move out. So you eventually get to the reasoning, actual reason why she wants to move out. Why is it that she wants to move out? Huh? Why? Everyone's puzzled. Because everybody else has got their own house and I'm still stuck here. Everyone's got their own house now. Yeah, I'm looking at all my friends, all my siblings as well. They've gone out, they've moved out, they got their own space, they got their own house, they got their own, they've decorated the way they wanted to. They've got this, they've got that, everything. And I'm still stuck here. What have I got? I got nothing. I got nothing. So she's like, that's it, I want to move out, I want to move out, and then I want to move out. And that's it. Yes? So a growing number of people like this, without actually realizing the pros, the benefits of actually living with parents or with the in-laws. People aren't really understanding this. There are so many benefits. A huge, massive benefit, which we're now missing out on, and which is leading to this marital problem that we're talking about, right? That when I'm sure those who are old enough will know, can roll the clock back and remember the times when you would get married and you would stay with the family, yes? Everyone would stay together. You would be given a space, there would be a room, maybe sometimes you would be getting, if it's a big enough house, you would get a whole section, 1, 2 rooms, and then your other brother would be living somewhere there, another person would be living there, the grandparents will still be living in the same house as well. Everyone's still living in that big, estate type house, yes? That's how it was. And those people who come from back home, it was even more common to stay like that in that kind of a big family unit, yes? What was the benefit of this is we're looking at? The benefits were, one major benefit we're looking at is if ever the husband and wife had an argument, and you do, right? A husband and wife, you're going to have a little bit of arguments here and there. It's going to happen. It's a natural process. You're going to have a disagreement here and there. Now what happens, because you got older people in the house, you got parents, you got grandparents, right? You got other people in the house. The voice is gonna start raising like as though it's the end of the world, right? Are they gonna scream and shout at the top of their voice? Generally not, right? There's gonna be this maintaining of respect that, oh no, there's other people, they're gonna hear, they're gonna say something, they're gonna pick up on this. So there will be an argument, but it won't escalate to a huge degree. Does that make sense? Whereas when they're living alone now, who's there to police them? Who's there to calm them down? Who's there? Nobody's there, right? They're their own boss. They're the king of their own houses. They're the queens of their own houses. What will happen now? They say whatever they want. They will curse each other. They will swear at each other. They will scream and shout at each other at the top of their voice. Yes or no? They will hurl things towards each other. They will physically abuse each other. Yes? Happening, yes or no? But who will be there to prevent any of that from happening? Nobody. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. Whereas when they're living with their parents, what happens now? Well, when their grandparents are in the same house as well, what happens? They'll have an argument. The grandparents will have picked up on it. They had an argument. Later on, what will happen? The grandmother will call the daughter-in-law and say, come here, beta. You know, yesterday I heard you talking to your husband in this way. This is no way of talking to a husband. This is not how you talk to a husband. You address your husband like this, and she would be taught through somebody who has been experienced. Because if you continue doing what you're doing, then the love towards you that he has will diminish. There will be some discussion. And likewise, the man in this, he will be picked up by the father or the grandfather or somebody. Yeah, somebody will call him aside, will tell him that, oh, you know, I heard you talking to your wife like this. That's no way of treating a woman. That's not how you talk to a woman. You're giving her threats and telling her this and telling her that and raising your voice at her. She's a woman. She's going to say things. She's going to be okay. It's fine. It's normal. Don't be so sensitive. Be a man about this. So he'd be taught certain things. Can you see? And like that, they would grow. They would understand how to live a harmonious life. This was a big reason as to why there was success in marriages before, and now you see breakup over the smallest of things. Breakup. And they lead to distance upon distance, and they grow so apart from one another. Before you know it, it's too late to sort any problem out. So you see, harms. One other big benefit that a person can get by living with your parents, what do you save so much money, don't you? How much money are you going to save? You're going to save that big massive deposit, or if you're on rent, you're going to save all of that rental money that you're paying monthly. You're saving all of that. You're saving so much. You can have so much more quality of life. You can utilize that money now that you're saving for the things that actually matter, rather than having to put it into a mortgage or putting it into a rent or wherever else you're spending your money on. You can contribute towards the bills of the house of your parents, look after your parents, and the parents are being taken care of. When you grow older, you have children, your children are taken care of because grandparents are there to take care of them. There's so many more benefits. Now, I'll give you an example, right? There was an incident I had where the wife came and she was with somebody, and now she's come to me for for her marital problems that she's having, for advice, and now she's crying. I'm trying to calm her, like, what's happened, sister? You okay? You know, Allah give you relief. And she's like trying her best to say what her problem is, but she's keep breaking down, and she's, you know, crying again and again. Obviously, something's hurting her. And then she eventually lets it out. She says that I am so ungrateful. She says about herself, she says, I'm so ungrateful. I'm like, what happened, sister? What are you talking about? She says, she goes on about it, and she says, to cut the long story, she explains that when she got married, she was living with the in-laws. And she had it all good, mashallah. She was living with the in-laws, she had it so good. The in-laws, she said, that this is her own words, this is what she's telling me. And this is common, this is many cases are like this as well. She says that my in-laws, mashallah, they took care of themselves. They never expected anything of me. They never expected anything, like when I wake up, they don't expect me to make any breakfast for them. Sometimes I do it, but they don't expect it from me. They don't expect me to clean their clothes or do anything for them. I don't have to do anything for them. They do what they themselves. I just have to take care of myself, my family, like my part, I do my part and that's it. So nothing was expected of me. I had it good, mashallah. So I stayed with the in-laws, but then after I had a child, she had one child, she told her husband that she wants to move out. And you know how men are, right? At that time, what do we do? Yeah, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, brush it into the carpet, just, hush it up. With the hope that she's not going to bring that topic up again, yes? Or maybe for a little while at least it's gone, yeah? The topic's gone, yeah? You put it to bed. So what happens, yeah, he deals with it like this. So he's telling her, yeah, Dori. After a few months again, she's bringing it up again, that look, I told you, what have you done about it? Are we moving out or not? You said yes and nothing's happening. I don't see you doing anything. A typical case, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm looking. I haven't found anything yet, like this. And he carries on procrastinating, delaying her. Now what happens? She falls pregnant, second child now. So while she's pregnant, obviously she's telling him that, look, we're second child now, we need more space now, and we have to move out, can't handle it anymore like this, and you keep telling me you're not doing it. So he has enough after that, right? So he says, that's it. So he finds a house on rent, he moves out. So they both move out now. So obviously she was pregnant, she has the second child. Now what happens? She expects, as any woman would do, that he's gonna, mashallah, like he was hands-on with the first child. And as men, we all know, those who have been fathers, mashallah, first child is always what? The special child, isn't it? My first child, you're extra cautious, you're looking after the wife, fulfilling all her cravings, doing everything possible for her, doing whatever it is, to every comfort you want to give to her, looking after everything, taking full paternity, maybe even a little bit extra unpaid, no problem. Why? Because you want to make sure everything comfort has been taken care of. Yes? Everything is done, yes? What happens, second child? Yeah, everyone's laughing, yeah? Everyone knows what happens, second child, yeah? Second child is not that, yeah, it's not the same, is it now? Because that speciality that was there with that first child is kind of worn off a little bit, right? So now what happens, second child? Yeah, it's a child, obviously. Everyone's happy about it, but it's not the same as your first, isn't it? So now what happens, he's only taken the paternity that he needed to take, that he could have taken, and then beyond that, he doesn't take anything else. So remember, they've moved out now, right? They've moved out. She has no help from her side of the family. So she comes from a broken family. So she has no help from her side of the family, but she's now obviously relying on her husband. But her husband's like, he's going to work. So anyway, she tries her best. She does whatever she does, and they're living. Now she falls pregnant third time. She has a third child as well. What happens now? Now she's telling me that, look, Mufti Sahab, I'm putting this baby to sleep. This baby wakes up, I change this baby. You have to change the nappy, change everything, get this one ready, feed this baby, put him to sleep, put this baby to sleep, and then the second one wakes up. So when the second one wakes up, I change nappy, feed, put them to sleep, and then the third one wakes up. When the third one wakes up, same cycle, yes, change nappy, feed, put them to sleep, and then the first one wakes up. And then she's saying, well, when's my turn? When do I get that bit of respite to put my feet up like all of them up? Never, it's not happening. There's the three of them now. So she's thinking that, oh, you know what? It's nearly 5 o'clock, yeah, that my husband's gonna come home soon, yes? And then he'll take care of them, and then I can have a bit of rest. But what happens? What happens? He comes home, yeah? Comes home all tired, right? Goes into the front room, sits, he drops himself onto the sofa, yeah, turns the TV on, and he's relaxing, right? He's relaxing. He's just there on his own, relaxing. And she's like, well, he's not even come and seen me, just said salam, and that's all he did. So she goes in and a little agitated into the room. When is it? That, hello, we're still alive, we're like, take care of your children now. So he's like, yeah, I'm tired. And she's like, yeah, I'm tired too. I've been taking care of them all day. I'm tired too. He goes, what do you mean? I've been at work all day. What have you been doing? Yeah, you just at home all day. What do you mean tired? Tired from what? What did you do? What have you been doing? And then having now an argument, yeah? Argument about, yeah, this and that and the rest of it. Argument, constantly arguments. Yes? Typical stories. These are harms. And now she is saying herself, yeah, this is the sister, she's saying that I'm so ungrateful, I should have stayed with my in-laws. Why? Because she says, I remember I remember the time when I had my first child, because remember, first child, she was still with the in-laws. First child, and we all know what happens with first child at night time is very difficult, especially first few weeks, very difficult. Don't get much sleep, right? So I remember, she says that I remember the nights when my baby was still crying at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., my baby's still crying. My mother-in-law would come, knock on the door and say, Beta, give me the baby. I will take care of it until Fajr. You go sleep. And I will have 2-3 hours of at least comfort sleep. Alhamdulillah. And she says, my mother-in-law used to take care of me like this. And now there's nobody for me. I have nobody. Nobody is there. My husband, I thought that my husband would help me like this, but he's not doing it because he's too tired from work and the rest of it. And he thinks it's not his duty. Yeah, by the third child, he's even sleeping in a different room now, isn't he? Yeah, because I have to go work tomorrow. Sorry, I need my sleep. So he's taking his special pillow and he's gone into the different room and he's sleeping. He's saying, you take care of him. And she's there pulling her hair out, taking care of 3 children, doing what she can. It's difficult, right? It's not easy. People aren't understanding these practical implications of just what living up to what societally people will say that I've been stuck in this home, I don't have a home of my own. But look at your convenience. And this is her saying this, right? She is saying that the other day I was cooking and I had to finish off my dish with some coriander, right? Some garnish, some coriander. I had no coriander left. So just to go get coriander from the local shop, I had to go to the local shop round the corner, get coriander. And just for that, what did I have to do? I had to dress up my 3 children. It was cold. Put everything on, put them into the prams, take the big pram out, push it along with me just to go to the local shop to get coriander. And then I came back. I had to squeeze the pram back into the door. Yeah, big pram. And then I have to take everything apart. I have to put it aside. I have to undress them. And then I've got my coriander. Such a long task just to get coriander. But if you were living with the in-laws, what would have happened? Mum, I'm coming, just go and get coriander. Done, in it. Your children are looked after. The simplest of simple tasks. You have compounded your problem so tremendously now, isn't it? Right? And this is her saying that. This is her own words. She goes, when I have to go to the doctor's surgery, which is literally 5 steps away from my house. But I have to do what? I have to take the pram out. I have to take extra nappies with me just in case the doctor takes long and is running over. I have to take milk, extra formula, extra powder. I have to take all of that for all my 3 children, right? I have to take everything with me. The big shebang, right? As if I'm going on a big holiday just to go 5 steps. I have to put them all into the pram, and if it's raining, I have to get the rain cover out and I have to do all that, go to the doctor's surgery. It was a big workout just to get there. And then what happens? You're sitting there, you're trying to take care of all of them. Yeah, you're attending to the doctor. Just a big thing. Why? Just because you have to go to around the corner just for 5 minutes. You have to do all of that, right? All those precautions need to be taken just in case the doctor's running over. Why are you making life so difficult? People aren't understanding these practical implications. Can you see this? So many more. We could sit here for ages talking about practical implications or the harms of moving out like this when you have no good reason. Remember, don't get me wrong. I myself have moved out, right? I'm not against somebody moving out. I'm just saying that when you have no reason to move out, then think about it. Don't just do it for the sake of society, for the sake of what will people say, for the sake of living up to a certain name. Don't just do it for that. Look at your own comforts. And don't be so selfish, because this is what it is, isn't it? We're looking at our own comfort sometimes, and we have to be somewhat selfless. We have to look at who we are taking care of, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of our needs, isn't it? Ya Allah fi awni al-abd ma kana al-abdu fi awni akhihi. This is just generally, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mentioning in the hadith that as long as you are taking the care of the needs of some other brother of yours or sister of yours, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of your needs. Here we're taking care of our parents, those who are, or our in-laws, those who we may not be obliged to take care of, but we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make a family for the greater good. And inshaAllah, in our old age, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us those who will take care of us. Inshallah. We have to understand these things. These things need to be taken care of, to be talked about. Otherwise, what happens? People are moving out. But we were talking about how people are moving out because of the fact that our akhlaq, our character, our conduct is no good. And people who do want to stay, they end up having to move out. So we have to understand this. There's so many harms to this. So many harms. Let me ask you this. What is the biggest killer in the West? So what's the biggest killer? What kills the most amount of people in the West? Is it like cancer? Is it some other illness, some other disease? What is it? What is it that kills the most amount of people? Freedom. MashaAllah. It doesn't, yeah, so this is not directly the cause of the killing. The actual cause of the killing is suicide. Suicide is the biggest killer in the West. Do you know that? Yeah, the biggest killer. More than anything else, suicide is the biggest killer in the West. Now you would think that somebody living in a third world country who's living in a little hut, that when it rains, the water comes through their roof. They don't barely have any clean water to drink. They don't have 2 meals a day. Now they may give up on life and say, I don't want to live this life anymore. That's it, I'm giving up on this life. You may think that this person is the one who's committing suicide, yes? But they're the happiest in life. And the people, us in the West, who have every facility on our fingertips. You press the buttons and it will come delivered to you, yes? Nowadays it's not just food, anything you order will come to you nowadays, isn't it? Yes, every comfort we have available to us. What do we not have? Come on, what do we not have? We have everything. We're sitting in a masjid, mashallah, underfloor heating. Come on, we have every facility we have. What more do we want? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us every comfort, yet we see people committing suicide in the high level. People giving up on life. Why? Like why? Rightfully so. Some of the brothers mentioned, because they are feeling lonely. They have given up on life because they have no support unit around them. In the difficulties of life, during the times when people are going through difficult times, and we all go through difficult times, yes or no? They have nobody to lend them a shoulder to cry on. They have nobody to put their arm around them. Nobody to comfort them, to stroke their head and say, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Nobody there to support them. There is nobody there. They're feeling lonely. So what do? The only solution they see is jump off a bridge, or take an overdose, or cut my veins. That's the only thing they see the solution, so they're doing this. And remember, these are the numbers of those people who successfully commit the suicide. If we added in there those people who attempted suicide and failed, then the numbers are skyrocketing. It's scary, the numbers. This is what's happening in the West. And it's not just non-Muslims, Muslims unfortunately. And it's all down to what? It's all largely down to what? This feeling of loneliness, because a person leads themselves to depression. Yes, complete rise in depression then. And in this depressive state, they're going to give up on life. They're going to think this is the only thing I can do. Allah Ta'ala protect. Allah Ta'ala protect. But this is what's happening, yes or no? And why is this? Is a breakup of family ties. When you have a breakup of family ties, there is no support unit out there. And our family was the one that we could have relied on. Those that would come to our rescue, those that will support us and help us when it matters. Such, mental health problems rising, escalating. Why? Because of all of this. Because of all of this. So what do we have to do? We have to understand the problems it's causing. And we have to come up with a solution, right? We have to come up with a solution. Some of the solutions we mentioned. One major solution is we have to better our character and conduct. We have to talk about the things that I'm talking about in our families, so they can understand the importance of keeping a family tie and mending this. Now, just to share with you some solutions, because we're talking about the problems, alhamdulillah, yes? Once we understand the problems, because this will give us the importance and the urge to do something about it, inshallah. That's why we're talking about the problems. Yeah, we're analyzing the problems of society today. And this is exactly what Allah Ta'ala talked about. What? أَن تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Yes or no? That corruption that will spread in the earth if you leave the way of Allah and Rasul. We talked about that. Allah is telling us that in the Quran. And then what will happen? The corruption that we're seeing is spreading, and you will break family ties. Can you now see the connection in this verse? How beautifully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah has mentioned. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is our creator, He knows how we function. He knows what it is that will keep us happy, and what it is that will make us lonely, sad, depressed. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. So Allah is not telling us this because it's for His own good. He's telling us this because it will benefit us. It's for our own good. Maintain the kinship, maintain your relationships. Allah is telling us in this way. So we have to do this, yeah? So what are the solutions? Another solution, which is a very easy solution, but I think which is one of the most important solutions. And that's why I'm mentioning this, because I think whilst we're listening to this, everybody listening to this right now, you can adopt this, what I'm saying right now. Right now you can act on this, inshallah, yes? So listen with this kind of ideology, with this kind of mindset, that I'm gonna do this right now. So whilst I'm saying it, already start doing it, inshallah, in your minds. Because all it is a mentality shift. It's a mindset shift. So we have to shift our mindset to understand that our family ties, my relationship with my brother, my relationship with my sister, this matters more than anything. This matters so much. This is what we have to think. We have to understand that our Sharia has given such importance to our family ties. And we understood that yesterday. Yeah, we went through ahadith upon ahadith. A person not entering Jannah. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breaking ties with that person if a person does not maintain the ties. Yes, so we understood the importance our Sharia has given. So give it the importance that our Sharia has given. Don't let a little bit of reputation that has been damaged. Yes, you felt that your brother or your sister has what? Disrespected you. Yeah, you felt that they've disrespected you. So that because of that you break ties with them? Is that the solution? Is that right? Is that correct? Yeah, you felt disrespected. Or you felt as though your right was taken from you. Your haqq was taken from you. You were not given your right. Yes? Does it mean that you were not given your right? Or they took your money? Or they took whatever it is? Does it mean you break family ties? Does it mean that you break ties with them? Is that what it is? Is that what our Sharia teaches us? Our Sharia absolutely does not teach us this. Our family ties comes above this disputes and this bickering and this whatever disagreements that you have with your family. Our family ties come above that. So just because of a little bit of disagreement and everything you're having, this shouldn't break your family ties. Look, understand it this way. For a Muslim, for us Muslims, who is the most important in our lives? Allah, yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most important in our lives, yes? In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes above our own selves as well, yes? This is how we regard Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, when we go through difficulty, who put us in that difficulty? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe the good and bad, the fate comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes? So when we are in this difficulty, when a person loses their child, for example, or a person loses their parent, or you think about any other difficulty that you're going to be in, yes? A person is in some severe, intense difficulty. In that state of difficulty, because we believe that Allah is the one who put us in that difficulty, do we say, oh Allah, you put me in this difficulty, I break ties with you now, I don't want to know you? Is that what we do? Do we break ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We don't do that. In fact, in this difficulty, we become closer to Allah. Isn't it? We come into the masjid even more. We will pray and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even more, with more sincerity. We'll cry to Allah. We will ask Allah, well Allah, you're the only one who can take me out of this difficulty. So we will become closer to Allah in this time of difficulty. And we won't break ties with Allah. Yeah, there are some people who unfortunately do break ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this kind of a state. Yes? They even say, oh, you know what, Allah, you put me in this difficulty. I don't feel like praying anymore. You know, I pray, I do this so much. I don't feel like doing that anymore. But then it shows where Allah is in their lives. That you lose a bit of money and you don't want to pray anymore. So that means money came above Allah for you. Yes? That shouldn't be the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala matters too much. Beyond a bit of monetary loss or bit of any worldly loss that we had to undergo, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above all of that. So our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be severed, will not break. Why? Because we're going through a bit of difficulty. Does that make sense? In exactly the same way, when we understand that my relationship with my brother, my sister comes above this disagreement we're having. So yes, you're feeling hurt. We are humans, yes? We are humans. When you are oppressed and when you are wronged, when you are treated in a disrespectful manner, you're going to feel hurt. We get that. Yes? And you are rightfully to even feel hurt. No problem. because we are humans. But how long can you hold that disagreement or that ill feeling or that hurt? How long do you hold that in for? How long? For years? For years and years, and you don't talk to your brother? You say that I have not talked to my brother for 10 years. For 18 years, one person said, 18 years I've not talked to my brother. 18 years, not even talk to their own blood brother. What over what? Over some disagreement that we had previously. And we don't talk to each other anymore. We don't see eye to eye anymore. We don't visit each other. This is what's happening in our societies. But why? Is because we have not understood that our relationship with our brother, with our sister comes above this disagreement. So you can be, according to Sharia, our Sharia allows us what? You can be upset for how long? You can be upset for one day, no problem. You're upset for a day. But when you go sleep, you wake up in the morning, it's a fresh day, turn a new leaf and start again. Say, no problem, I forgive whatever happened. It's fine, let's get on together again. This, we have to learn something from young children, isn't it? Abdullah ibn Mubarak used to mention that we have some qualities that in young children we have something to learn from. You know, young children, what do? We have children, right, in the same household, and what do? They fight, don't they? They fight, and we have to separate them, and they're really upset with each other, and they're looking at each other, they're fighting. But after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you come back again, and what is happening? They're playing again. Hee ha ha, and they're joining, you know, they're laughing and joking at each other again. You're like, even you as a parent, you will say that what happened 5 minutes ago, you were fighting. Yeah, you were fighting like cats and dogs, yeah, and now what happens? You're best chums now again. But this is a good quality in them, that they're able to forget, they're able to forgo. Can you see? We have something to learn from them here. So we have to learn that our relationship comes above this. It shouldn't affect our relationship. And that's why you will see those families that, mashallah, you know, you see some families that are very tight together, mashallah, you know, and you even look at them and you think that, oh, mashallah, look at this family, mashallah, they're very close. They're very close. Why is it that they're close? Do you think they're close because they never have arguments? Do you think that's the reason? Of course they have arguments. But because they learned, they were taught by their parents, by their elders, they were taught that no, our relationship comes above this. And they do hold their relationship above whatever disagreements they have. They have a disagreement, but no problem, we get over that because our brotherhood, our sisterhood matters more. So this mentality shift we have to have. If we have this mentality shift, inshallah, we'll be able to do the rest of the solutions that we're going to talk about, inshallah. We'll talk about more solutions, inshallah. But those solutions you'll only be able to adopt if you have this mentality shift now. So right now, whilst we're sitting here, we're having this mentality shift, inshallah, yes? That our family ties matters beyond, above all of this other materialistic things that we have. Is that making sense to everybody? Inshallah, one more thing I will share, one more solution, so that we don't have too much to carry on for next week, because we still have a lot of the topic to still cover, inshallah, yes? So one more thing, inshallah, we'll share. This is a very important thing as well, that we have to lead by example. What do we have to do? We have to understand our position, because most of us that are here, mashallah, youngsters have gone to the other center. So that all of us that are here, we are people that the younger people will be looking up to. So we have to lead by example for the youngsters. Meaning we have to show them. We have to show them that, look, beta, yes, this so-and-so person, this relative of ours, they have done something bad towards me, but doesn't matter. I'm still going to forgive them. I'm going to join ties with them because our relationship matters more. We have to show them that. Otherwise, what will happen if we break ties? We break ties with our own brothers. We break ties with our own sisters. What will happen? Our children will learn that breaking ties with sisters, with brothers is no problem. So when they grow older, what's going to happen? Our own children, they will break apart. Do we want that? Do we want our own children not to be talking to each other the way we're doing with our own brothers and sisters? We don't want that for our children. So if we don't want that for our children, we're going to have to lead by example. We're going to have to show them what it means to be the bigger person, to be the one that can forgive. We have to learn that. We have to show them. And if we don't show them, we've got sad times coming up ahead. Where nowadays we are seeing children, what are they doing? They're not learning anything. Now, let me give you an example. You'll understand the gravity of this, inshallah, through this example. So where I do Jumu'ah, I came there, mashallah, I was a little bit early, I was waiting, and there was a brother coming, and you can see this brother, he's quite He's marching down. The way he's marching down, he looks quite furious. Yeah, he's quite annoyed. You can see, and I can see that he's dragging along his teenager, mashallah, 16, 17-year-old, on average, probably 16, 17-year-old. You can see him dragging him along. He's coming along, and he's saying something to him. He's muttering something to him, probably telling him off like that. Yeah. As he grew closer to me, I said, Assalamu alaikum. So he greeted me with salam, wa alaikum assalam. And then first thing he says to me, Mufti Sahab, teach this boy something. And he's quite annoyed, yeah? You can see he's quite annoyed. Teach his boy something. I say, okay, what's happened? He said, he has no common sense. This boy has no common sense. Yeah, and he's shouting, obviously, he's saying it quite loud, and everybody's there, like, obviously, you're showing up your 16, 17-year-old, it's not going to go down nice here. So I take him to the side a little bit, and I say, calm down, like, uncle, what's happened? Like, so he tells me the story. He says that this boy has no common sense. Yeah, I say, wow, what's happened? So he says that some months ago, let me tell you an incident. He goes, some months ago, we were going out as a family. And as a youngster nowadays, yeah, he finds it boring to go with the family, right? Yeah, so he's got to that age, yeah, and he's like, no, I don't want to go. It's boring with you people going out, yeah, well, So then they leave him. He says, okay, you can stay at home, because he wants to play his PlayStation, right? Obviously, that's his reason. He doesn't want to go out with the family, so he's like allowed to stay at home. He's playing his PlayStation happily. What happens? Knock on the door. Somebody knocks on the door. He goes, opens the door. It's a relative. It's an uncle. So first thing he says, oh, nobody's in. That's the first thing he says, nobody's in. So uncle says, oh, okay. So when will they be back? So he says, I don't know. Okay, so shall I come back later? He says, yeah. And then he closes the door. Okay. Then when the parents eventually come home, he tells them that, oh, so-and-so uncle came. Now the parents, they think to themselves that uncle, he's come from a different city, and he doesn't have anybody in this city. Where's he going to be? Where's he going to go? So he asks, the father asks the son, that did you invite him in? So he's blank face. Huh? Invite him in? When, what's that? Like, invite him in? So, like, a guest came to your door, did you not invite him in? Huh? Was I meant to do that? So he says, no. He goes, you disgrace. What are the people going to say that a guest comes to your door and you didn't even invite them in? You didn't invite the guest in. They're going to think, the family going to think that we've taught no manners to you, this and that and that and the rest of it. He's telling him off. Has a right go at him. Anyway, what happens when he's telling me the incident right now? He says, just a little while ago, a short while ago, a few weeks ago, what happened? He's home alone again. Yeah, we left him home, he's home alone again. And then what happens? A knock on the door, right? So he opens the door, and this time he's learned his lesson, right? So he invites the guest in, right? He invites them in, seats them into the front room, and he even sits with them. Yeah, he even sits with them, yeah, because they get told off not to, you don't even sit with the guests. So he sits with them, and obviously the uncle and auntie, they're trying to have conversation, but how much conversation can you have with a youngster nowadays, right? Yeah, they're going to give you one-word answers, isn't it? That's it, isn't it? When you phone your parents, if you moved away, you phone your parents on Eid Day, right? You phone your parents on Eid Day, you're going to give it to your son or your daughter, and you're going to say Eid Mubarak, say salam. They're going to say, they don't know what to say. You're going to have to prompt them for everything. Yeah? You're going to say salam, say assalamu alaikum, say Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. Say, have you eaten? Have you eaten? How are you? Yeah, how are you? How is this person in the house? Yeah, you're going to have to prompt them for everything. They don't know what to say. And if you leave them for a little while, it's going to be like, they don't know what to say. Yeah, the youngster will come to life when you put him a headset on. You put a headset on, that's when you'll see the youngster come to life. Yeah, that's when he knows how to talk. So that's the youngster of today. So anyway, what happens? They're making conversation about, after a while, they've got nothing else to talk about. They're sitting in silence. So they say that, okay, you know what? I think the parents are going to be a bit long. So shall we come back? We're going to go to a few houses and we'll come back. So then he says, yeah, no problem. So he lets them out and he's really happy with himself today. Yeah, I invited the guests in. I even sat with them. I talked to them as well. So when his parents come home, he's got a big grin on his face. And he say, oh, so-and-so guests, so-and-so relatives came. I invited them in. I even sat with them. So, oh, well done, beta, well done. Very good, very good. So what did you give to them? Oh, what do you mean? What did I give to them? Like, guests came to your house, didn't you give them any juice or anything? There's some juice in the fridge, you just go get some juice and give it to them. Juice? Like, No, I didn't. Oh, okay, but did you offer them water? Huh? Water? No. You disgrace. You disgraced us in the society, in the family. What they're gonna say? The guests came to your house, you didn't even give them water. Not even water. What, they went from your house just like that? You have no common sense. That's it, he's off on him. So he's telling me this story and I'm like calming him down. I said, look, uncle, don't worry, it's not his fault. I said, the first time you told him off, he learned his lesson, didn't he? Look, second time when the guests came, he invited them in. So you can see they're learning, mashallah. He's learning. But what is it? It's not his fault. It's not his fault because he hasn't seen you in action. He hasn't seen it happening. Yeah. So just to cut the story a little bit, I walk into a house, a wedding house, and everyone knows what happens in a wedding house. Everyone's everywhere, right? There's too many people. So I walk into the front room, and what happens? Typical case here. All the sofas, the seats are all occupied. So there's people sitting on the floor as well. So I'm casually trying to find a space in the corner somewhere, and I'm walking towards that corner, and I turn around. I'm about to sit down, yes, on the floor. And one youngster, he says, "Oh, what are you doing? Come here, come here." He's giving up his seat for me. So I said, "No, don't worry. Stay, it's fine." Yeah, he said, no, I insist, come and sit here. So he insisted, I sat there, mashallah, somebody taught this youngster manners, mashallah. Yeah, Allah Ta'ala give him jaza'ul khair. Anyway, so I sat on the sofa. After a short while, a uncle came in. Uncle came in with tea in hand, mashallah, and he's looking around. What's he looking for? He's coming in and he's looking around. What's he looking for? Everyone knows what he's looking for. Yeah? Never been in this position before. He's looking for a seat. He's looking for a seat, right? Yeah, he's looking around, yeah, and nobody's budging. Yeah, one's on his phone, scrolling his phone, the other's talking to his friend, yeah, the other one's on his Snapchat and whatever else he's doing. Everyone's like busy with their own thing, and nobody's even giving attention to this elder, mashallah. He's come in, he's got his tea, he can't sit on the floor, his knees have given in now. So he's like a little awkward position now. He's thinking, what do I do? So he's looking a bit awkward, no one's giving up his seat. So now he acts like he came in to look for somebody. So he says, oh, is so-and-so here? I mean, you could see he's not there, right? You've been here for a while now, you can see he's not here. So, oh, is so-and-so here? All right. So he's about to turn around and go. And I'm thinking, what's happening here? What's happening here? These youngsters that are occupying these seats, these sofas, they're not giving up their seat. So I indicate to one of them, I say, get off, man. Give him the seat. And he looks at me first, like, why me? Like, why me? He's like shrugging his shoulders a little bit of attitude, like, why me? Like, why do I have to come on my seat? He slides himself off his sofa, right? And then I said to the uncle, come sit here. And the uncle sits there. And it makes me think, right, that what is it in these incidents that I've told you about, that how come when we were growing up, I'm sure those people are old enough, did we have to be told to give up a seat? Did we have to be told that, give up your seat with that? No. We would do it automatically, yeah? You get to an age where you understand that I have to give up my seat. So you give up your seat, don't you? But why is it that you give up your seat? I remember, everyone can remember this, that when you were young, you saw your father, that when somebody elder, when his parent, when your grandfather, somebody came into the room, your father would get off the seat and give up the seat. If somebody came up, they would give up the seat. So you saw this happening. So when it came to your turn, you knew what you had to do. You knew you had to give up your seat too. You see? So learning through action like this. And in exactly the same way, in the first story I told you, what happened, the youngster, what happens nowadays, I'll finish on this point inshallah. What happens nowadays, the youngster's playing computer on his big massive screen in his room, he's playing his his PlayStation that you've bought him, you've rewarded him with rightfully, yes, you've bought him all of this and you've given him this headset and mashallah, he's doing his computer gaming, yes? And what happens now, when there's a knock on the door, what happens? Who has to open the door? Who's going to open the door nowadays? You, the parents, yes or no? So you have to go open the door. Oh, there's guests. Oh, you welcome the guests in. Oh, you seat them into the front room. Oh, you're gonna ask them water, tea, coffee, whatever else you're gonna ask them. You're gonna tell them you want to use the toilet. You're gonna welcome the guests. You're gonna sit with the guests. Yes or no? After a while, you notice that Beta hasn't come down from upstairs yet to greet uncle. So you're gonna say, Beta, come downstairs. Uncle has come. Come and say salam. You might hear an answer. Maybe you'll get an answer, yes. Otherwise, he's too busy, innit? Yeah, too busy, too occupied. He can't even hear what you're saying. And after a while, you're sitting with this relative of yours, you're conversing, and then now comes the time when they're now nearly going to leave. You know that they're going to leave soon. And he still hasn't come down yet. So what are you going to do? You're going to find an excuse to go to use the toilet. I'm coming, just going to the toilet, yeah? I'm coming, yes, just a few minutes. And you're going to go upstairs and you're going to creep into his room and he'll say, get downstairs now. I called you so long ago, uncle has come and you're going to leave. They're going to leave now and you haven't even come down to say salam. Get downstairs now. I'm coming, just playing this. Yeah, I'm just going to finish this round. I'm just finishing this round. No, pause it. No, I can't pause it. You don't understand. I'm playing online. You don't understand. That's what he's going to tell you. And you're going to be really strict on him and he's going to come down and he's going to be, I have to come down. And he's going to come down like as though it was a big chore to come downstairs and do salam. They're going to stand like this, and he's going to stand there like a lemon, right? He's going to stand there, yeah, and he's going to say salam, yeah, salam alaikum. This is my son. This is him, yeah. Say, oh, salam alaikum. Well, what do you do? I go college. That's it, nothing else. And after a while, the uncle can see that he doesn't want to be here. So, beta, carry on doing what you're doing, no problem. So, beta's gone. Right? That's the only interaction that beta nowadays is having with a guest. So how does he know what to look after a guest is? He doesn't know. But I'm sure those old enough will remember the days when we were growing up, right? I remember the times when we were growing up. I'm not that old as well, right? So I remember the time when I was growing up. What was it? We didn't have all these games, consoles and computer games in our rooms, right? The most that a person would have had, those who were able to afford was what? The Super Nintendo, right? That's it, that's what you had, right? Or an Atari maybe. That's what you had. And you had to play this on this big, massive box TV that you had in the corner in the room. And that's one TV that you had to share with everybody, right? So you could only play when everyone else is not watching. Yeah, that's it. And everyone was there, huddling around, 4 channels you had to watch. Yeah, just 4 channels in it. And it was Eid when the 5th channel came out, right? Let's check out this 5th channel, what's it all about, right? That's it, everyone was sitting in the same room watching that one box. What happened when guests came? Beta, get the door. Beta had to get up, get the door. Oh, it's guests, come in. Guests came in, they welcomed the guest in, isn't it? Now Beta was sitting in the same room because he had nowhere else to go. Where's he gonna go? Go into a room, stare at the walls, there's nothing in his room. So he's gonna sit there with everybody else, isn't he? So he's sitting there and they're now learning, they're seeing how my father is looking after the guest. Oh, the conversation, oh, salam alaikum, come in, sit here, tea, coffee. Beta's learning. Can you see? He's learning how to look after a guest, how to converse with a guest. So when it came to their turn, they knew how to look after a guest. Can you see? The point I'm trying to make from this, simple point I'm trying to make from this, is that the children, our children, they learn by example. They learn by us leading by example. If we do not lead by example and show them how it is to maintain ties, then they will not know how to maintain ties. And there's damning times coming up ahead if we don't sort this out. So it's vital, over time, it's vital and very important for us to make sure that we lead by example, we explain and we show to our youngsters, because they don't learn by us telling them. Our youngsters, they come to madrasa, they have lessons upon lessons of looking after parents. Yes or no? How many times they're told that don't say even uff to your parents, but do they do more than that? They do even more than uff nowadays, yes or no? So how come they're still doing that? It's because they don't learn us by us telling them. It's not by us telling them they learn, they learn by us showing them. We have to show them how it is to look after our elders. Then they will see how it is to look after the elders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability. Inshallah, we'll continue this topic. In the solutions we'll talk about. Practical, inshallah, next Friday when we come back again. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to act upon what we hear and say. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah for listening.